So I asked before the break, is this the best spot to kind of be in?
Ooh.
And some may roll their eyes at that, but like I am wondering.
Here goes Duck Hunk Sprague. What are you going to throw at me now?
Well, you asked Heather Dinich a question about Dan Lanning and how Dan Lanning, what was his big thing? Double down, right?
Double down,
like,
right?
Yeah, okay, you believe in yourself.
I love that there were people at his. We didn't pull any of the audio yesterday because he didn't say anything different, and it's just at some point there's not really a point in playing the audio other than hearing his voice. There was a reporter there yesterday who asked him, "So, like, what's your theme for the year?" It's like, really?
Can we find out who that was?
And he basically was like, "Well, like I said last week, double down, right?"
What did it sound like, an old person or a young person?
I don't know. I didn't infer much age in the question.
How do you miss the double down
just like,
quote from Big Ten Media Day?
What are we doing? That was kind of the only takeaway from Dan Lanning's Big Ten Media Day was him saying double down.
Mike Vrabel had that in his presser the other day. A reporter came in and asked him a question that he gave like a 3-minute answer to this question. And maybe 5 minutes later, a different reporter asked him the same question. He went,
yes.
What were you sleeping?
What are we doing
I already
here?
answered this question.
It's the same way we make fun of each other when we either ask or repeat the same thing that the other one just said, because we do that from time to time. And we look at each other, we're like, dude, I just said that. I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Last year, preseason, Oregon had the 4th best title odds in college football.
Ooh.
This year, Oregon is down to 7th.
Nobody's giving us a chance, dude.
And I certainly understand, like, it's more the Dante Moore thing, I think, than it is anything else, the uncertainty or questions we have at quarterback. But it is interesting that, like, Lanning there was no floating duck. There was no sphere duck. There was no Lanning, like, we're mighty different out west. Right. It was just like, we're doubling down. And like, okay.
And we won the thing last year. We're going to go win it again this year. Double down.
It's not a bad thing, but it didn't really take off. Like, I don't know. It's not, I wouldn't say flying under the radar. When you're the 7th best odds, you're clearly looked at as a good team.
Nothing about Oregon is ever under the radar.
But when you talk about the great teams, the elite teams, Heather Dinich has you in a category of 5 or 6 in the country of, they're just always going to be in the conversation to win the title. They're 7th in the odds category.
Yeah, well, she's a known duck honk, of course. Only a duck honk would say something like that.
I think it's just more, is this the best place to be in?
It's a great spot to be in, dude. It absolutely is, because you're not going in with a you better win the title or bust this year mentality. You are flying. I know it's dumb, but you are in the Big Ten at least a little under the radar because everybody's going to pick Penn State to win the conference this year. And Ohio State is a team that just won a national championship. And so you're a bit of the third banana in that combination going into the year. And we can laugh at this stuff all we want. For a lot of it is really dumb for the outsiders looking in. But whatever little tiny pieces of motivation that you can find to give your team, It works, and it might be, well, okay, your 7th best title odds. Really, underdog? Lanning can find a way to use that and say, hey, only one person picked you to win the Big Ten this year, even though you went 13-0 and won the whole damn thing last year.
Well, Notre Dame, like, is a good example. They have a new quarterback. They're ahead of Oregon.
They are.
Now, they got to the title game.
Supposed to be pretty good, young kid.
Yep. Alabama didn't make the playoff. They have a new quarterback.
They went 9-3 and lost to Vanderbilt last year.
They're ahead of Oregon. There's a lot of, you can look at some of these teams and say, well, this is kind of new. They're ahead of Oregon. Yep. So
nobody's giving us a chance, baby, right where we want to be.
No, I didn't say that.
Nobody's giving us a chance.
Didn't say that. That is not what's happening.
What are we? We're like Arizona State this year, dude. People picking us last in the Big Ten, man. Nobody's talking about Oregon going into the year.
Do you care to guess Maryland's odds to win the national championship?
1 billion to 1.
Same odds as Rutgers.
How about this? Instead of placing that bet on them to win the title, just give me the money. If anybody is thinking about betting on Maryland to win a title, just give me the money instead.
100,000 to 1. Plus 100,000. That's crazy.
Somebody gives you those odds, you got to take it. That's what Kevin Malone once told me.
Minutemen have the same amount of odds as Maryland and Rutgers.
That's so bad.
What are we doing?